This thing barely fits in here. I don't know. I'm gonna have to take off. If I take off my receiver, if I take that off, I'll be able to just close it. So, and I'll take my bull bar off the front, and that'll give me a little bit of room to scoop by here if I gotta get over there. Okay, so I'm taking off my hitch receiver, and I put my jacks under it. That way it wouldn't fall when I took the bolts out, because I'm only one person. If I had another person, I wouldn't have to worry about it. But I'm gonna get this moved over here where the rest of my parts are, and then I'll be able to close the door. But I think I'm gonna rearrange a few things in the garage to make a little bit more room, and then I'll pull it back in. I got plenty of room now. I had to bring it in at an angle because I couldn't get by here. I got some new hood struts for the Titan here. It's a brand called Vepago, whatever that means. I'm gonna get these popped on. I think all you have to do is pry this little metal tab out and fold it up, and they just pop out. I have this little pole here holding the hood. That way it doesn't fall or move while I'm installing these. But I'm gonna get these installed and hopefully have a good support, because I'll probably end up taking the hood off just to give me some more light and room. Alright, now the hood is off. Now it's actually very heavy, but probably not as heavy as that bed was to me. But that's awesome. Yeah, I put like old clothes on those for when you take it off. That way it didn't rust on the plastic or metal here. I like to be as safe as possible. I don't want to ruin any plastics or pieces or parts, because very unnecessary. But now I'll have more light and I'll have more room. I don't have anything blocking me. Okay, so I got the battery out and I'm still working on getting that battery tray off. There's a bolt hiding underneath the fuse box, so that's kind of stopping me right now, but I'm going to proceed and go ahead and take off the intake, and I'm going to get these connector sensors off, and probably these hoses. I'm essentially just going to start taking stuff apart because I have to get to the starter and you have to take the intake manifold off to get to that. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm starting to label these wires. I've got a little piece of blue tape and name this mass airflow. That way I'll know exactly how to put it back. And I get pictures of everything before I take it apart. So I got like 100 pictures of the engine bay for reference. Okay, a little bit of an engine bay update here. Got my intake off. You just take your 2 clamps off here, and then unplug your mass airflow sensor connector, and then take your airbox lid off, and that slides apart. Got my parts up there. What else have I taken off? I showed my battery. Now I'm taking off all these connectors and my fuel injector connectors, which are these gray headed connectors. You gotta hold them or push them in, push down, and then pull back on them. They're kind of tricky. My fingers are sore, so they hurt trying to get those off. But then I got my valve cover breathers that go here on each side, taken off, labeled and organized. That's what this blue tape's for. I'm using a red Sharpie and then wrapping all my connectors with labels. That way I'll remember, and also a ton of pictures. But I have a few more fuel injector connectors to take off, and then I'll start working on getting my manifold off. It'll not be today, it's pretty late already, but I'll have to take my gas line off, which I have the tool to do that now. And I did clean this thing before I started taking it apart. Alright, I gotta get this fuel line unplugged here. I'm gonna take this little cover off, set it aside so I don't lose it. Alright, I think I got it in there that time. Yep. Oh, there goes my flashlight. But that's pretty easy. Just don't drop that down under your intake. Some of these fuel line disconnect tools have a little handle on them, but the one I have don't. Which that's kind of good because you can get a lot of leverage by pushing in, but would be nice. Okay, I got all 10 intake manifold bolts taken out. They were all very easy except the back 2. I had to crawl up in here like a monkey, bro. Horrible placement, but I know it has to be there, but it's just hard to get to. So I'm gonna see if this thing will... Cat has a hairball. See if this will lift up. Make sure I'm not attached to anything else. Okay, let's see if it'll come off now. I had one little connector left. Trying to make sure I got my finger gloves on. Just point where you need to see. All right, let's try it. Hope so. I got a little bolt right here for the transmission dipstick I gotta take out. Will it come out now? That's heavy. Look at that rat's nest. So I'm gonna wipe off these gasket surfaces for the intake gaskets, and then I'm gonna tape them up so no dirt and debris get in there, and then I'm gonna try to remove all this rat's nest and get a vacuum cleaner to all that. I'm gonna go ahead and start getting my coils out. All that's holding them in is a 10mm bolt, and then they just pull right out, and there's 4 on each side, obviously. 1 per spark plug. This one's already loose, so I'm just gonna unscrew this 10mm bolt. Got the bolt, and this thing will just pull right out. Simple as that. I got a Sharpie. I'm gonna label them. I'm gonna put them back exactly where they were because the thing ran exactly how it is. They're pretty universal though, so you can use any for any cylinder, but I'm just gonna put them back where they were. All right, I got all these valve cover bolts taken off for the driver's side. I have my little gasket surface thing. It's like very soft on the end, that way you don't damage gasket surfaces. It's actually a scraper, but I used it to lift up the cover a little bit. Ooh, that's nasty. All right, I received my knock sensors finally. I bought Delphi knock sensors. I wasn't fixing to pay close to $200 for a knock sensor a piece. So I tried to find a good brand, but this is like about the best thing after OEM that I could find. I'm not gonna buy an eBay knockoff $12 shipped knock sensor, because I don't want to have to do these again since they're under the intake. These knock sensors aren't bad. They're actually very good. But I figured I'll go ahead and replace them while I'm in here, because I don't ever want to tear this apart again, or at least not for a long time. All right, what's in the box? Ooh, looks pretty good. Oh, almost dropped it. Let's compare it. Let me take it out. All right, got it out. Let's compare it to the OEM one. Yeah, looks good. I think I'm actually gonna wait to do the knock sensors until I get the starter out and put the new starter in. That way I have a little bit more room. But I will go ahead and get this wire harness out and diagnose what I gotta fix, and go ahead and fix that probably. I got all the spark plugs installed, new iridiums. Let's see here. I've installed all of these coils, and now I'm installing this side. Let's see, I need my stool. Engine bay's huge. That wiring's been in my way this whole time. We'll put my 10mm bolt back in. Yeah, I've already mounted it, huh? I probably shouldn't have done that yet. Idiot. It's okay, that's the only one that I'll have problems with. This rack has come in handy. I got all my bolts lined up. I put my coils in here, plenty of room for everything. I went all these years without having something like that, and that would have made my life so much easier through the years. Get these nice and shiny before I install them. That way this engine bay will look clean as possible. I want it to look nice and fresh. Alright, that's nice and clean. I'm going to put a little dab of dielectrical grease in there. That might be a little too much, but it'll be okay. Bring my bin over here. Tighten that up by hand. I'm just gonna do it like hand tight. I'm not gonna put any effort into that. No need. I don't have a torque wrench that goes under 10 foot-pounds, so. Alright, one more coil to go, and I'll be done with the spark plugs and coils. A little bit of dielectrical grease. Stick that back down in there, and we're almost done. Whoop, that would suck. I hope this thing starts right up when I'm done doing everything. I hope it starts up and runs really good. That would make me really happy. Because I've put a lot of hours into this thing already, and I'm not even halfway done. I still gotta paint the thing. Spark plugs and coils are done. So I think tomorrow I'm going to have to borrow an air ratchet because mine is broken. So I'll have to borrow one of those, hopefully get those bolts out, get the new starter in. What else I have to do? I have to do the intake, manifold gaskets. I have to clean that, make it look new, clean the inside of it. I think I have an evap canister that I bought a few years ago that I still need to install, so I'll probably do that. Need to do thermostat. I have that. I have the belt. I have the brakes. Yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. Oh yeah, knock sensors. I gotta put the new knock sensors in. And also the new knock sensor wiring harness. God, that's just so much money in those two parts alone. I used Velcro for the valve cover gaskets, and I really liked them. The fitment was very nice. That's I think the first time I bought Velcro. I've seen them for years. I just never had to do valve cover gaskets, so I was happy with that quality. We'll see if they hold up, and if they don't, I'm sure I have something negative to say in a future video. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching the video. Leave a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe to my Snapchat if you want. There's some cool stuff on there sometimes. Sometimes there's nothing. But anyway, see you in the next one.